a WikiVidi documentaries production. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Enjoy. The Walking Dead TV series. The Walking Dead is an American post-apocalyptic horror television series developed by Frank Darabont for AMC that is based on the comic book series by Robert Kirkman, Tony Moore, and Charlie Adlard. Andrew Lincoln plays the show's lead character, Sheriff's Deputy Rick Grimes, who awakens from a coma discovering a world overrun by zombies, commonly referred to as walkers. Grimes reunites with his family and becomes the leader of a group he forms with other survivors. Together they struggle to survive and adapt in a post-apocalyptic world filled with walkers and opposing groups of survivors, who are often more dangerous than the walkers themselves. Much of the series takes place in and around Atlanta, Georgia, and later Alexandria, Virginia. The series premiered in the United States on October 31, 2010. Exclusively shown on cable television channel AMC and internationally on Fox International channels. As a result of very favorable Nielsen ratings that rank the show unprecedentedly high for a cable series, AMC has renewed the series each year. Beginning with its third season, The Walking Dead has attracted the most 18 to 49-year-old viewers of any cable or broadcast television series. The series was renewed for a ninth season which debuted on October 7, 2018. An AMC spin-off series, Fear the Walking Dead, debuted on August 23, 2015. The series has been well received by critics, although reception has become more mixed as the series has progressed. It has been nominated for several awards, including the Writers Guild of America Award for New Series and the Golden Globe Award for Best Television Series Drama. Series overview. The Walking Dead takes place after the onset of a worldwide zombie apocalypse. The zombies, colloquially referred to as walkers, shamble towards living humans and other creatures to eat them. They are attracted to noise, such as gunshots, and to different scents, and more humans. Although it initially seems that only humans that are bitten or scratched by walkers can turn into other walkers, it is revealed early in the series that all living humans carry the pathogen responsible for the mutation. The mutation is activated after the death of the pathogen's host, and the only way to permanently kill a walker is to damage its brain or destroy the body, such as by cremating it. The series centers on Sheriff's Deputy Rick Grimes, who wakes up from a coma to discover this apocalypse. He becomes the leader of a group of survivors from the Atlanta, Georgia region as they attempt to sustain themselves and protect themselves not only against attacks by walkers, but by other groups of survivors willing to assure their longevity by any means necessary. Season 1, 2010. Sheriff's Deputy Rick Grimes wakes from a coma discovering a world overrun by zombies. After befriending Morgan Jones, Rick travels alone to Atlanta to find his wife Lori, his son, Carl, and his police partner and best friend, Shane Walsh, encountering other survivors. The group travels to the Centers for Disease Control, but find from the sole remaining CDC member that no cure exists for the epidemic. Season 2, 2011-12. Traveling from Atlanta, Rick's group takes shelter at Herschel Green's farm while they search for Carol's missing daughter, Sophia. Tension between Rick's group and Herschel's family worsens after it is discovered that Herschel has kept friends and family turned into zombies, including Sophia, in his barn. Shane and Rick's friendship becomes increasingly unhinged when Lori reveals that she is pregnant, and Rick is forced to kill Shane in self-defense. Carl then shoots Shane in the head after he reanimates. The noise draws zombies, forcing Rick's group and Herschel's surviving family to evacuate the farm. Season 3, 2012-13. 8 months after fleeing Herschel's farm, Rick's group finds a prison, which they clear of zombies to make their new home. Lori dies in childbirth, and Rick becomes withdrawn. Meanwhile, Andrea is rescued by Michonne, and the two discover Woodbury, a fortified town led by a man known as the Governor. He learns of Rick's group at the prison, leading to conflict between them. Rick's group eventually raids and destroys Woodbury, but the governor has Andrea ultimately killed and escapes. Woodbury's citizens live with Rick's group at the prison. Season 4, 2013-14. Several months after the governor's attack, a deadly flu kills many of the people at the prison. The governor finds his former right-hand men and kills them, taking over their group and destroys the prison. Rick's group are forced to separate and flee, but not before Herschel and the governor are killed. The survivors divide, face their own trials and meet new faces before finding signs pointing to a safe haven called Terminus. One by one, they reunite at Terminus, but all the group are captured for some unknown purpose. Season 5, 2014-15. Rick discovers the residents of Terminus engage in cannibalism, but the group manage to destroy Terminus and reunite. Some are injured and kidnapped to Grady, a hospital run by corrupt cops and doctors. When the remaining survivors regroup, they are approached by Aaron, inviting them to join a fortified community called Alexandria. They are initially welcomed, but Rick's group realize the residents have not faced the zombie threat directly. Morgan, who has been searching for Rick, arrives and is shocked to see Rick killing an Alexandrian, who has been abusing his wife, in anger. Season 6, 2015-16. The residents of Alexandria put more trust in Rick's group to protect the town better. A group known as the Wolves use a zombie horde to attack Alexandria, and many lives are lost before the living regain control. While recovering, they learn of a community called the Hilltop, who offer to help trade supplies if they can end the threat of the extortionist saviors led by a man named Negan. Although Rick's group decimate one savior outpost, they are later caught by Negan, and forced to swear loyalty to him. Season 7, 2016-17. Negan murders Glenn and Abraham to coerce Rick's loyalty. Rick initially submits, but Michonne persuades him to fight back, and recruits a community called the Scavengers for help. Meanwhile, Rosita and Eugene make a bullet to kill Negan. When this fails, Negan forcibly recruits Eugene as a savior. Separately, Carol and Morgan befriend Ezekiel of the Kingdom, another community, while Maggie and Sasha rally the Hilltop. Negan, the saviors and the turncoat Scavengers attack Alexandria, but it is repelled by Sasha's sacrifice and the aid of Kingdom and Hilltop soldiers. Season 8, 2017-18. Rick, Maggie, and Ezekiel rally their communities into war against Negan and the Saviors. Losses are heavy on both sides. Many of the Kingdom soldiers are killed, Alexandria falls to a savior attack, and Carl is bitten by a walker. Before euthanizing himself, Carl convinces Rick to end the war and restart society anew. Negan attempts to wipe out Rick and his allies, but Eugene disrupts his plan and Negan is wounded and captured by Rick. Against Maggie's wishes, Negan is spared and imprisoned, ending the war. Season 9, 2018. In January 2018, the series was renewed for a 16-episode 9th season, which premiered on October 7th. Series writer and executive producer Angela Kang took over the role of showrunner from Scott M. Gimple, who was promoted to chief content officer for the Walking Dead franchise. The season starts with a time skip of about a year and a half from Season 8, which coincides with the comic's narrative after the All-Out War arc. Season 9 is Andrew Lincoln's and Lauren Cohan's final season on the show. Future seasons. Executive producer David Alpert said in 2014 that the original comics have given them enough ideas for Rick Grimes and company over the next 7 years. I happen to love working from source material, specifically because we have a pretty good idea of what Season 10 is gonna be, Alpert said. We know where Seasons 11 and 12 will be. We have benchmarks and milestones for those seasons if we're lucky enough to get there. In September 2018, AMC CEO Josh Sapan stated that they plan on continuing the Walking Dead franchise for another 10 years, including new films and TV series based on the original comic book series. Darabont Connections. The series features several actors whom Walking Dead developer Frank Darabont has worked with previously, including Laurie Holden, Jeffrey DeMunn, Melissa McBride, Sam Witwer, and Juan Pareja. All 5 appeared in his 2007 film The Mist, along with Thomas Jane, who originally was set to star in the series when it was pitched to HBO. Jane was later in talks with Darabont to possibly guest star on the series as of fall 2010, but with Darabont's departure, it is unknown whether the guest spot will happen or not. Laurie Holden also appeared in the 2001 film The Majestic, which Darabont directed. DeMunn has also appeared in several of Darabont's films. In addition to The Mist and The Majestic, he appeared in The Shawshank Redemption and The Green Mile. It was planned that Witwer would reprise his Days Gone By role in the original conception of The Walking Dead Season 2 premiere and in a webisode, but both plans were discarded. Development. On January 20, 2010, AMC officially announced that it had ordered a pilot for a possible series adapted from The Walking Dead comic book series, with Frank Darabont and Gail Ann Hurd acting as executive producers, and Darabont writing and directing. The entire series was pre-ordered based just on the strength of the source material, the television scripts, and Darabont's involvement. In January 2010, a review of the pilot episode's script attracted further attention. The pilot began filming in Atlanta, Georgia on May 15, 2010 after AMC had officially ordered a 6-episode first season. The series' remaining episodes began filming on June 2, 2010 with Darabont serving as showrunner. On August 31, 2010, Darabont reported that The Walking Dead had been picked up for a second season, with production to begin in February 2011. On November 8, 2010, AMC confirmed that there would be a second season consisting of 13 episodes. He would also like to include some of the environmental elements that take place during Volume 2 of Kirkman's book. Crew. The first season writing staff consisted of series developer and executive producer Frank Darabont, executive producer Charles H. Eagley, executive producer and creator of the comic book Robert Kirkman, co-executive producer Jack Lowe Giudice, consulting producer Adam Fierro and Glenn Mozzara, all of whom contributed to one episode each, along with Darabont, who directed the pilot episode. The remaining 5 were directed by Michelle McLaren, Gwyneth Horder-Payton, Johan Ronk, Ernest D. Cashin, and Guy Ferland. On December 1, 2010, Deadline Hollywood reported that Darabont had fired his writing staff, including executive producer Charles Sheik Eagley, and planned to use freelance writers for the second season. Kirkman called the announcement premature and clarified that Eagley left to pursue other projects when Darabont decided to stay on as showrunner, and no definitive plans had been made regarding the writing staff for Season 2. On December 3, 2010, in an interview with Entertainment Weekly, executive producer Gail Ann Hurd commented, "It's completely inaccurate. In the writer's room, there are people that have set up other projects that will be their first priority if their own series is picked up as a pilot or if it's a series. I think Eagley just decided that he wants to run his own show." She revealed that it would be likely for the show to return in October 2011, as Darabont and Kirkman planned on mapping out the next season early in 2011. She also confirmed that every one of the principal cast is signed up for multiple seasons. In July 2011, series developer and showrunner Frank Darabont stepped down from his position as showrunner for the series, over unclear circumstances. Executive producer Glenn Mozzara was appointed the new showrunner in Darabont's place. New writers joined the writing staff in the second season, including co-executive producer Revan Riley, producer Scott M. Schimple, story editor Angela Kang, and David Leslie Johnson. New writers in the third season included producers Nicole Beatty and Sang-Kyu Kim, with Frank Renzulli contributing a freelance script. After the conclusion of the third season, Glenn Mozzara stepped down from his position as showrunner and executive producer for the series, per a mutual agreement between Mozzara and AMC. The press release read, "Both parties acknowledge that there is a difference of opinion about where the show should go moving forward, and conclude that it is best to part ways. Scott M. Gimple succeeded Motsara as showrunner for Season 4. With new writers joining the writing staff, such as Curtis Gwynn, Channing Powell, and Matt Negrete, in January 2018. It was announced that Gimple would be promoted to the newly created position of Chief Content Officer of the entire Walking Dead franchise, and that Angela Kang would replace him as showrunner beginning with the 9th season. Writing. The television series generally tends to follow Kirkman's comic series across major characters and plots. For instance, events of the premiere episode of the 7th season correlate to events in issue 00 of the comics. The show does not attempt to go step by step with the comics, and has leeway in the narrative. In particular, the show's writers, along with Kirkman, often transfer how a character has died in the comics to a different character in the show. For example, in the 4th season, where Herschel Green is beheaded by the governor in the standoff with Rick's group at the prison, in the comic, Tyrese is the one who receives this fate. Some of the television characters, like Carol, have far outlived their comic counterpart, while others that have already been killed off, like Sophia and Andrea, remained alive for some time in the ongoing comic series. In addition, the writers have included characters wholly novel to the series such as Daryl Dixon, which producer Galen Hurd says helps to create a new dynamic for the show, and keeps the audience guessing from what had already been established in the comic series. Music. Bear McCreary was hired to compose the score for the series. McCreary stated that the main theme was based on his viewing of production designs for the opening title sequence. Instead of doing a full theme song as with his earlier works, McCreary chose to use a simple, repeating motif from the strings section. Soundtracks. 4 soundtracks for The Walking Dead have been released to date. The Walking Dead, AMC Original Soundtrack, Volume 1 was released on March 17, 2013. The second volume was released on March 25, 2014. Songs of Survival is a soundtrack for the 3rd season and it was released on August 27, 2013, by Republic Records as a Walmart exclusive for the special edition release of the 3rd season. Songs of Survival, Volume 2 is a soundtrack for the 4th season and it was released on August 26, 2014, by Republic Records as a Walmart exclusive of the 4th season release. Brought to you by WikiVidi Documentaries. Would you like to know more?